check. Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's wonderful event. Just like to inform you that we will start in a few minutes, so if you could please start settling down in your respective seats, and we will begin in a few moments. Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the official launch of the truly amazing, ready for action Nikon Z8. My name is Nicolo, and I have the honor of being your host for the evening. For over 100 years, Nikon has been at the forefront of advancing imaging technology. The Nikon Z8 is yet another example of that timeless commitment towards optical excellence. Tonight, we will deep dive into all of the things that make the Nikon Z8 a game changer, see some inspiring examples of what can be done with this camera, and meet respected artists who have tried it firsthand. But first, to formally kick off this momentous affair, please join me in welcoming the Managing Director of Nikon Middle East FZE, Mr. Narendra Menon.
Assalamu alaikum, good evening, Good evening to you all. We need that kind of energy, because the brand is reliving its life. And the brand stands today just because of you all. So let's be together, and with that energy, I will take you through today's presentation. My job is today to welcome you all. So I personally feel this is a welcome for you for this event. I would like to welcome you all from my heart, from the Nikon Middle East team, as well as from Nikon Global, for this wonderful evening. And it is a very important evening for us, as you all know. So I have one more welcome. What has happened? Before I start this presentation, I have the habit of telling stories. Sorry, please be with me for next 10 minutes. I believed as a brand, it is important to work with people, with stakeholders, with photographers, with the entire supply chain that we work with on a regular basis. What has happened? Yes, Nikon, we stand today 106-year-old brand, and the brand has gone through, I think I'll take this. Yeah, hello? So I'm not seeing this side, sorry. So the brand is now about 106 years. And as we all know, there was a digital era, there was a print era first, then a digital era, and now we stand in a very different era altogether. The Nikon brand, yes, like any businesses, we are all business people here. Like any businesses, every brand, every person goes through ups and downs, and there was a lot of ups and downs for us also. It was not exceptional. But as you all know, from the print to the digital, we took some time, yes. And then when the digital started growing, we took #1 share at that point in time. Yes, again, after a few years, digital, in the same digital continues, but the DSLR form factor has changed. Even though Nikon was the first brand to introduce the mirrorless few years ago, when there was no concept of mirrorless at that point in time. But then, yes, we took little time to understand the customer, and then we are moving. And as of today, that is what the second welcome that I want from all of you, because Nikon wants to welcome you to a new era. In 2017, we played a video by saying that it is our 100th anniversary, and it is all about light. And at that point in time, we said that for the next 100 years, Nikon stands. And then 2018, Corona happened. DSLR as a category was trying to survive. And we all know, and thanks that at least few of you were always with us very strongly saying, no, this brand will come back. And why I want to welcome you to the new era is with Z9 introduced to the world. Nikon, again, I'm sure you will all agree, it's not from a Nikon brand I'm talking, but we all agree the due respect to the brand Nikon and the technology behind has been accepted by the consumer. I think I personally feel to give a big applause to the people who are behind in Nikon Corporation and the people who understood the customer requirement. Please join me with, for just to give a good clap to the people. We have Murata-san also here. Because Z9 is a revolution, is what will take us for the next 100 years. The technology, I'm not talking about the model Z9, but the thought process behind it, and the total outlook of the brand has has changed. And that is why this welcome is for a new era that we are going to start, which will go for next 100 years. Do you have a change? Which one? Great. Yes, we have been seeing this kind of vision statements from brands, vision statements from countries. We are proud standing in UAE today and say 2030 there is a vision from our leaders. And like that, each country goes into have a vision, because without a vision and a great leadership, it is impossible to achieve anything in life. And we also have a vision of 2030, which has been made by the new management of Nikon, which from 2022, this vision was published globally. A key technology solution company in a global society where humans and machines co-create seamlessly. when we say about this, in 2022, people would still think, what are this brand going to do? And that is what happened. In Z9, we have today something called AI, a self-learning tool, which is built into the brand, into the product, and which will help the consumer and the photographer to take great photos as per what he thinks great. So that is the kind of direction that they said, and that is what has been delivered. Uh, Bringing humans and machines closer for creating the best kind of available creativity in your mind. That was the second direction which Nikon Corporation shared as vision, and co-creating and delivering new values for the society. When we speak about Nikon, people think, yeah, Nikon is a great brand. They have been manufacturing cameras for hundreds of years. Do they understand about delivering new values to the consumer? So I will take this opportunity not to talk about the products, because it's of no point me talking about product, because we are selling the products to you. But I think what I will take this evening, my presentation to you, is to make you understand where this brand is going in the short and the midterm plan. If you look at the vision, when the vision is made, there is always a strategy, and they will look at the strength and weaknesses of an organization. And when we look at the strength of the organization, capability in ultra high precision, and which has been our optics, our positions are even from the time we started the business, before imaging happened, it was very clear that was one of our strengths. Brand power and utilizing that brand power fully, which means when somebody says Nikon, there is a brand involved and there is a power for the brand. So we will capitalize that power and deliver to the consumer. And strong support of stakeholders. Stakeholders, yes, when we say stakeholders, we think, yeah, people who have invested into the company. But when we stand here today, the stakeholders are each one of you. I think this is our Nikon Middle East team, which is sitting here today, who have been, you people have been the stakeholders for us, to believe in us and to continue the strength. So that is the kind of stakeholders that we are talking about. And when we look at how it can be put into business model, with all those strengths that we have, we will be making great products. We will have better services to the consumer. And we also have a very strong manufacturing and component business also. So we will combine this to make the products better in the coming time. Today, even we have one of our colleagues from Nikon Vision, which is basically another business. So we have lots of other businesses that we do. But people thought, no, Nikon is thank you very much. It's time for us to say and move on. But that's not the case. If you look at the report, I will sorry. I will want to show you the company's performance so that you understand where the company is looking at. So we understood 2030 vision, and now let's understand how the progress report of the company is. As we all know, how many people know Nikon has many other businesses? How many people know about other than imaging, Nikon? So there are, yeah. So there are lots of other businesses that we do, and those are our strength also. If you look at, we have our verticals, which is component business, which is digital manufacturing. Then there is precision equipments, imaging, and healthcare. When we speak about this, if you look at, I have been telling you about the 2030, the long-term vision of the organization. Now, if you look at it as in a midterm plan, which is up till 2025, because we have to break it down. If you look at the component business has been doing fairly well, and that is the plan that they want to grow that business. When we say component business, there are lots of factories that we supply our components for the manufacture of many products around the world. Digital manufacturing, as you can see, laser, radars, X-rays, CT systems, many other things that we also do. Before I go in further, Nikon has developed last year a skin for the Japanese airlines. The skin was put on the entire plane, and this helped the Japanese airlines to reduce the usage of fuel and carbon emissions. So that is the kind of thought process that the organization is going through. It is not just manufacturing cameras. So we are in the process of developing and helping the society. So that is one thing that we have been doing. FPD lithography business. There are many products probably we use in our day-to-day life where the components manufacturing has been done in Nikon lithography machines. So it is a big business for us, and I think it is growing also. There are challenges, but I think share is still quite high. We have our imaging business, and which I will touch upon in the coming slides, and healthcare. We have been seeing lots of new purchases of healthcare business in last 2-3 years. For example, to quote is a company called Optus. It is into imaging of your retina at around 270 degrees. And this business is growing at tremendous pace and making good money for the brand. So we are diversified, and whatever we are put in, we are achieving those kind of in those 5 verticals that we operate. Just to give you an idea of how our business 2019 to 2025. Now I'm not talking about the long term, which is 2030. We will talk about 2025. Here, if you look at in the financial year, one of our lowest year was FY 2020, where during Corona, and there were other challenges that we faced. So this, if you look at, it is purely imaging business. That is why 600 billion yen. And when we look at 2021, we have grown better than previous year. And when we stand today, last year we closed in March 2022, where our business globally grew. And now forecast for next year is about 665 billion. And as you can see, the target is about 700 billion. And I will touch upon it in the coming slides. This is just to show that the vision of the company has been passed on to each and every level of operating people, and which has been achieved. So just to show again, our revenue has been growing, our operating profit, people said, no more black for Nikon, and then we made profit of 10% globally as a net profit. And then look at the ROE. ROE is what we all run our business for. And that is the kind of delivering that we are doing, which is much getting better and going the right direction as company expected. If you look at, this is again a midterm plan for revenue. And if you look at 2024, I've been talking about 20, 21, 22. 22 actuals is 178 billion, and 23 actuals is 23 is going to close at 227, and our forecast is 240. So we are in the right direction that we are taking. So this will not stop. What I want, what request from Nikon side is, please, now there is no point shying away. The brand is in black. The brand has created one of the best mirrorless cameras that we have ever seen. And people stood with us very strongly, understanding the core strength of the brand. And from today, that is why I'm welcoming you to a new world that Nikon will show to the consumers. So with that, I will also, these are the businesses that, so what I want to say is, every committed number has been performed by all the 5 businesses that we are operating in, which means all our businesses are doing great. To conclude, I am so happy and proud that yesterday the first Arab astronaut, and we are blessed that we are in that land standing today. He had posted from the ISS station a beautiful video where he is looking at our beautiful Earth from the station, and he is talking to all of us, because he welcomed the first lady astronaut from the region. That is the pace that this country, the region that we operate, is showing to the world. And we are blessed to say that the astronaut from UAE, in his video, he is having a Nikon camera in his hand in that kind of environment. And that is what, if the brands believe in us and people traveled to space also uses the brand, we are here to stay. And when we say this, we are really here to stay. And it is not here people, employees, that makes the difference. It is each one of you. When I speak to my photographers, they are much more, they have more conviction than the brand owners. And that is what the brand is all made about. So that way, if you look at, our vision is going to be the key technology solution company in the world, in a global society where human and machine coexist seamlessly. This is for sure, and this we have already started seeing. And Nikon will provide innovative technology solutions that anticipate and meet our customer demand, or meet our global customer. We are putting customer into the center. Why Z9 happened? Not because engineers just developed something. It is because people like you who have been talking to us, and luckily the brand is able to hear you and your requests. So that way the customer needs and contribute to a better sustainable world. As I've already said, that Nikon is really keen to work closely with environment protection, with all those kind of things that will help the brand and the society that we live in, because we are here not alone. We are here with many people together. Human and machine co-create seamlessly to solve the challenges that we face currently. And that is what the brand believe in. And with that, I think, please, it is my request. These are the things that we can see positive today. But today, as I stand as a humble person from Nikon Middle East family and from Nikon Global, it is my privilege to stand in front of you, because you people make the brand and not us. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Naren-san, for that very, very warm welcome and for those wondrous insights into Nikon as a business. And as Naren-san has already touched on his presentation, ladies and gentlemen, Nikon's ethos as a brand and as a community is simple as it is timeless. And that is to give artists the tools that they need to empower their imagination and create without limits. Now, to help us further understand Nikon's global vision, please welcome to the stage the General Manager of Nikon Singapore's Imaging Division, Mr. Hitoshi Murata.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hitoshi Murata, and I'm from Nikon Singapore. This morning, I came from Singapore and flew into Dubai, and I see many of you also came from across the region. Thank you very much for your time and sharing time with us. So tonight is a night of Z8 launch for the region, Middle East, Africa, and South Asia across. Thank you very much, and I'm so very excited. Can I have a clicker? This one? Okay. So Nikon has launched first Z series camera, Z6 and Z7 in 2018. And since then, we have introduced Z5, Z50, and Z6 II, Z7 II, ZFC, Z30, and in end of 2021, we introduced Z9. In case of lens, we have now more than 30 lenses, all the way up to the 400 millimeter, 600 millimeter, 800 millimeter. And some of the items, we are sorry for the overwhelming demand, which we could not even anticipate. So like in case of Z9, it took us 1 year to fulfill all the back orders. Same story with some of the telephoto lenses. We still have many back orders that we are still in the challenge to catch up with all the demand. And now, from the Z9 technology, we have put together the latest technology and the know-how of precision manufacturing, as well as assembling know-how into the smaller body, which is Z8. I am also not very technical person, so let me just sum up this Z8 in 2 words, which is ready and action. This Z8 is the best technology for both photography and videography. when we talk about the Nikon, just repeating from the Mr. Naren's comment, but we are the key technology solution company. As he was touching, we have many business verticals beyond the imaging. But the common word or the common point is the technology. We are investing in the innovation of the technology. To be frank, I'm very frustrated because I have a limitation to share what is going on in the headquarters, what is going on in the R&D. I have many maybe surprises I could possibly share, but that is what we do. And the corporate slogan or the corporate vision is to unlock the future with the power of light. The item like digital manufacturing or the industrial methodology, semiconductors, lithography, those are all related to the light. And imaging business now is not the biggest representation of the Nikon business, but still is the core business. And let me repeat that we have a huge investment to go, and which is to support the users in the market. Here, for tonight, we have many guests in this venue, starting from maybe Nikon fans, channel partners, distribution partners, Nikon professional members, Nikon NPM members, and partners from medias, partners from the studios. And this is the brand which consists with all of you. Some of the maybe the office members or most of the office members may be even having the shorter relationship with the Nikon brand. I am aware that how long you have a contribution or the communication, interaction with this brand. The only point I want to mention is just as a representation of current employee, I want to thank for the long-term commitment and relationship with the Nikon brand. Thank you very much. And last words is that I want please everybody to have a nice evening tonight. So let us have a nice lunch.
Thank you, Murata-san. And now the time has come to unveil the star of the evening. So if I may, I would like to call back on the stage Naren-san and Murata-san to officially lead the unveiling of the Nikon Z8. I hope you guys are as excited for this as I am. I haven't actually seen the camera myself, so we'll just set it up here. And there it is. I think a countdown is in order. I'd like to start from 8. That will be very poetic, but I think that's going to be too much. So let's just start from 5. Guys, please join me in counting down for the unveiling of the Nikon Z8. After 5, come on, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, the new Nikon Z8.
Yeah, that's the camera that we have been talking about, and we hope that this will bring in a lot of happiness to the photographers to capture their imagination in the best possible way. So we are really proud to present this to you, and I think the waiting is getting over for us to start sales. So I think globally 25th tomorrow it will be available, and this time, thanks to Nikon Corporation, there is no shortage. As of now, we will be able to deliver. Yes, South Africa, excuse me, I will not be talking to you. Yeah, I still understand there is a lot of back order, but I think most of it we are able to cover. But let's work together, and so happy and really proud for Nikon to create such wonderful products, which they have been doing before. And now again, thank you. Murata-san, thank you all for coming. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm sure you can.
And that's the Nikon Z8 for you, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm sure you're all super eager to see just exactly what this camera is capable of, not just in photography, but also for videography and filmmaking. Now, you're in for a treat because we have lined up some amazing examples for you to enjoy tonight, starting with a piece created by Miss Joanna Enriquez of Nikon School. Joanna, where are you? Is she here? That's the artist herself. So let's roll the clip, and then Narensan can come in later on to speak a little bit more about it.
Joanna, I want you to be on the stage today, please. No, what happens, these are not choices. These are God's gift sometimes. When when employees like her we have in our office, she has been she started her profession with us as sales admin, and many of our distributors knows. And then she took the challenge of becoming a photographer and a Nikon School trainer. And then she developed, because this could not have happened because she is working for us. It could have only happened because she believes in what she is doing. I think please give her a big hand.
I really don't know what to say. I'm speechless. But the first time I had the Z8 on my hand, it was love at first sight. The camera has given me all the things that I need as a photographer. And now I really didn't even thought that I could turn into a videographer, not professionally yet, but I can tell myself that I can be a hybrid shooter at this point. The camera has given all the things that you might be looking for being photographer and a videographer at the same time. So the only thing that you need really to learn is to be a storyteller, learn how to frame, how to create a story, and but you don't have to worry about that because through Nikon School, we will be helping you out. So I think it's time to have an action. Get ready.
Thank you so much, Joanna. We should have people like her in our organization, in our family, in our life. And if that is what we can give them, then this is the kind of results. And this video, she gave it as a surprise. This was not even planned to be played here. But last weekend, she went and then she showed it yesterday to us. It's, for me, it's professional. It's the commitment. It's the capability of the camera. And it is her talent that she has shown here today. Thank you. And I have blessed that I have this team with me.
Bravo, Joanna, and thank you, Naren-san, for curating that wonderful piece of content. That was truly mind-blowing. It really was. Now for another amazing example. Okay, so one of the Nikon Z8's most well-appreciated features is the ability to shoot 4K at 120 frames per second. And to give us a taste of this innovation, please enjoy this video shot at 120 FPS by Nikon MEA's very own Amin Lal Bashir. Amin Lal, are you in the hall? Amin, are you here? There is Amin Lal, ladies and gentlemen. And now let's enjoy his wonderful video.
Can we play it one more time, please? Wow. We have been talking about expressing your capability, your creativity, and that's what we talk about. I mean, where are you? Can I see you? Thank you so much. I mean, even last weekend, again, this was a challenge given to them, and then he created this, and these, it's not a video, now we all know. It's a photo stitched together. The feel is very different from video. And what we want to tell you is, people who wants to talk bad will always talk bad. That's okay with us, because now we are not shying away, because we have been blessed with the top engineers of Nikon Middle East, Nikon Global, to manufacture and give the best of the best products to the customers. If you see, we don't have a light there, but if you see photos being kept there on which are about 6 photos. And these photos have been taken by Amin and the same bird there. And we printed to the maximum size possible, which is above A0. And it is captured, shot on a Z8 using 120 frames per second at 11.1 megapixel. We talk about, no, 11.1 hash, it's not good. Nikon is just fooling people. What is the size that we are printing? And I take your I take your idea of putting it together, but we couldn't get time. But we want to, like you rightly said, from the small screen to the biggest A0. I think it's a creative marvel that way. So please see this to believe, because these are things that we never thought at any point in time. That's when I'm again welcoming you to the new era of Nikon. That is going to happen from today, from tomorrow, and it will continue to happen. Please believe in us. We are here to stay, and we will give the photographers the best possible creation that they can make out of our cameras. Thank you so much.
And again, guys, if you would like to see the stills version of that same shoot, please do visit the right side of the hall to check out all of the shots taken of the same bird model shot with the Nikon Z8 on 120 FPS. All right, and before I proceed, I would just like to remind each and every one of you, in case you guys are covering tonight's event on social media, please do tag us at Nikon MEA and use the hashtag Nikon MEA. We'd be delighted to look at all of your wonderful content. All right. Now, The 120 FPS is just one of the many awe-inspiring features of the Nikon Z8. As you all understand, there is much, much more. But to take us through even more of Nikon Z8's innovation, please join me in welcoming the General Manager for Customer Satisfaction at Nikon Middle East FZE, Mr. Tarek Abdelrahman.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thank you very much for being here tonight. It feels good to have the big Nikon family. It has been a long time, but what a good feeling. So thank you, shukran jazilan. My name is Tariq Abdurrahman, like Mr. Nicolo thankfully introduced me. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Z8, but please allow me at some points. Of course, this presentation will be full of numbers, which can be self-explainable at some moments, but please allow me at some moments to highlight that in Arabic, as my main language is Arabic, and also we have Arab guests here that I would like to highlight some of these features. Thank you very much. So Nikon is reclaiming the crown. And we are more than 100 years company. We started the camera concept, we started the lens concept. We've been on the top of imaging for decades. But yeah, things goes up and down, and now we're back. So, like Narisan and Murata-san explained, we have been trying to go through the change from SLR to mirrorless with the best possible pace, but we started to accelerate, and we have seen that in the models that has been launched and the number of lenses, the Z lenses that has been successively launched across the years. From 2018 till now, we are at the mark of 39 Z lens. The models has been successively launched until today. We are here with the Z8. The Z8, promise you, is the ultimate hybrid camera. We could not compromise on any of the two, video or photo. We want a camera that does both and in an ultimate. Well, I'm going to stress on some of the technologies that Nikon is adapting in the Z8 successively to the Z9, which is, first of all, the stack sensor. The stack sensor is a sensor comprising of the pixel and a dynamic RAM into it, and the circuitry that processes part of the image into it. So we have a sensor that takes a big role of what the circuitry does, and that enhances the speed of the processing, which is definitely very required in the camera, especially in video functionality, and 120 frames per second. And it renders also, it solves many of the sensor issues that has been known, like a rolling shutter and other factors that has been probably almost resolved by that design. So after successing this sensor in Z9 has been carried down to Z8. In Arabic, من أهم الحاجات اللي نيكون أخذتها في من الزي 9 للزي 8 هو تصميم السنسور الستاك سنسور، لأنه بيحتوي داخل السنسور نفسه على الذاكرة ودوائر إلكترونية اللي بتساعد على يعني معالجة البيانات قبل ما المعلومات تروح على الدوائر الأخرى أو المعالج الرئيسي للدائرة. And opening the camera that way, so we can see that also we have carried the same image stabilization, which is 5 stops, 5 axes, the best in the industry. That's also existing in the Z9 and Z6 II, Z7 II. But what we can add on top of this now in terms of image stabilization is that the tele lenses, or some of the selected lenses, has in it also an image stabilizer that can synchronize, that gets synchronized with this function, which is built in the camera, and can enhance stops up to 6 stops. So we can increase the image stabilization up to 6 stops. That's the best in the market. No other brand, or we are the best in this industry in terms of image stabilization, with the 5 stops added to the lens stabilization. Okay, so that's again another addition which is very important, whether talking about video or photography. برضو الستابلايزر اللي احنا مستخدمينه هو نفس الستابلايزر اللي موجود في الزي 9 وموجود برضو في الزي 62 والزي 6 والزي 72. بيقدر ان هو يتناغم مع الايمج ستابلايزيشن اللي موجود في العدسات، ويقدر يحقق بناء عليها عدد يعني ستابلايزيشن افضل من 5 ستوب ل 6 ستوب يقدر يوصل. And the Nikon invention, which is supported by the X-Speed 7. X-Speed 7 is a revolutionary processing circuitry, allowing for a new concept that Nikon developed, which is a dual stream. The dual stream is generating 2 flows of data, one to be processed and one for the recording and one for the live view data. And what's the benefit of doing this? The benefit is to have a non-blacked continuous vision on the viewfinder, which is quite very important for many of the photographers, and I think that users really appreciate such feature. الديوال ستريم هو بيبقى مدعوم من المعالج اكسبيد 7 واللي بيسمح بعمل يعني مخرجين للفيديو، واحد بيروح للفيو فايندر والتاني بيتم تسجيله، وده كان تم بناء على التصميم من مهندسين في نيكون. And that's a result of the dual stream, which gives us 2 flow of data, one for recording and processing, another one for viewing uninterruptedly. Well, coming to our supreme formula. When Z9 was launched, it was quite unique to have a variety of codecs, variety of formats, and a variety of file types recorded in camera. Okay? How could this possibly happen in such a camera with that price and with that size? Was the 3 elements. The stack sensor, capable of capturing a huge amount of data and store it in the dynamic RAM and start processing it inside the ship. On top of it, Nikon X-Speed 7, a very fast processor, allowing to process the video instantly, and very importantly, adopting the CF Express Type B. Type B, not Type A. Okay? Sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody. It is Type B. Type B, the fastest. Type A does not allow that speed. Yeah. So that's technology. Don't mean to harm anybody, but this is what the technology is. Type B is the fastest of all memory types. It's housed inside the camera, and that's what Nikon chose. So it can go up to, we'll talk about that, but a speed just good enough to record that huge amount of data. Okay. So what type of codecs? Now, let's talk those languages, because we need to identify and need to differentiate what we're talking about. We have the codecs. A codec like the ProRes RAW, a codec like the H.265, and I didn't write it down here, but H.264 obviously is also part of the codecs in this camera. And on top of all that, we have the codec of NRAW. NRAW is a brilliant codec. What it does, it allows a quality that is close to the best of the ProRes RAW, but in a better size and maybe a little bit better of quality. And because of that, in NRAW, we're able to record 8K 60 frames per second. Okay? Of course, there was a court case that possibly you have heard about with the company called, I don't know. Somebody said something. Okay. We won the case a couple of months back. Yeah. And obviously, it's our proper codec. So NRAW is a codec that can support the fastest and highest quality of video. So we can record up to 12-bit with 8K 60 frames per second and unmatched quality. Okay? So these are the codecs that this camera houses in camera recording. And the formats, like I just touched, we can go up to 8K 60 frames per second in the NRAW. We can go up to 4K 120 frames in some of the other formats. So anyway, we got into these possible combinations. The types of formats, which is also very important. We have the standard. That's what possibly most of us, if we have used video, we have used the standard format. And some of us have used the log, maybe unlog, maybe other log in other cameras. But the log format is pretty much similar in many cameras. The functionality and the concept is more or less the same. And what is my preference is HLG, hybrid log gamma. It's also a type of a log file, okay? But it has a very standard format, so that when it gets deshuffled or decoded, it has only one way to be decoded. And that's why we have got those marvelous monitors over there that can support HLG. And you can have a look. So my colleague, Mr. Gino, thankfully has recorded some material. You need to be careful what you need to record to show the feature of HLG. Hybrid log gamma is a format, is a type which demonstrates the dynamic range in case you have a high contrast in your video. So that's the purpose of having these monitors over there. And we have a kind of content that has been recorded. You can have a look on it. And that's the power of HLG. HLG is a kind of broadcast recognized format. And it is adapted in the BBC and the Japanese also broadcast TV. Okay. I can say it in Arabic. Where can I start from? Should I go? Okay, fine. I mean, it's all about numbers, probably. Yeah. So again, I'm stressing on this. That was a brilliant selection from Nikon. We wanted this kind of cards. We wanted cards that are capable of recording, reading 1,700 MB/s and writing 1,300 MB/s. Does anybody knows 1,700 MB/s stands for what? Megabyte per second. And the camera internal speed is measured in megabit per second. I mean, that's normal, nothing wrong. The camera circuitry, the data inside the camera is measured in megabit per second. Memory cards like to use megabyte per second, which is 8 times megabit per second. So if you want to match the speeds, you need to multiply this value into 8 and then see what speed of video that can be transferred onto your card. These are the fastest, and we are certifying those two. So ProGrade is certified by Nikon for video recording. Okay, and we have 1 terabyte already. But type B, there are some other brands that had reached already to 4 terabyte. 4 terabyte is huge. It's huge capacity, you know. But what we just say, this definitely will work on our camera, is the ProGrade and the Nikon that can reach up to 1 terabyte of capacity. And that's how we are able to record that kind of formats that we've been talking about, with the kind of speeds that we are talking about. With all of this, we never compromise on the build and how our camera is sealed. We never compromise on that. That's in our philosophy. Before anything, we must make sure that our cameras are so robust, so strong, so sealed, and so resistant. That's what we believe a camera is made for. That's what we believe a user might use a camera for. He doesn't have to care about, you know, if I hit the camera, it's going to crack, and if I drop it once, that's the end of it. He doesn't have to think like that, because that's the nature of his work. So the camera is made for that. Okay, he's assuming this, and that's the philosophy of Nikon. And that's what makes us possibly as well, together with a feature of the camera, winning a lot of deals, you know, in media and corporates that all happened last year with the Z9, thankfully. So we never compromise on this. We have a carbon fiber front body with a magnesium alloy. We have a sensor shield, and we have a premium weather sealing body. So you can operate the camera very confidently. Dual card slots with a Z8. One is CF Express and one is SD card. We have 4-axis tilting touchscreen, monitor high resolution, and we have also a possibility to hook battery grip on the camera. Okay. أحب أقول لحضراتكم برضو اختصار بالنسبة للكاميرا. الكاميرا نيكون ما ترددتش في إنها تخليها بالقوة والمتانة اللي معتادين عليها مع الكاميرات السابقة. الكاميرا البادي بتاعها من الكربون فايبر والمغنيسيوم، مقاوم جدا وقوي جدا، بيتحمل طبعا الصدمات انه يقع على الارض. عندنا سنسور شيلد، بتهيألي فين استاذ ماجد؟ ماشي. السنسور شيلد كلمني فيه 100 مره. محتاجين سنسور شيلد للسنسور، وده موجود في الزي 9 والزي 8. والبريميوم ويذر سيلينج، المستخدم مش محتاج انه يفكر انه لو الدنيا مطرت ازاي يحمي الكاميرا او امور زي كده. فكل ده ما تمش التغاضي عنه في تصميم الكاميرا الزي 8. And on top of all of this, what people recently prefer, we've been not hearing that except a few years back. I want a light camera, but yeah, here it is. It's light, it's compact. You can hold it the whole day without feeling any tiredness. So yeah, it is here. I think in a while we'll start to put the cameras all around, so you can hopefully try, if you're lucky, to get your hand on one of these. مما لا شك فيه ان احنا مع تصميم الكاميرا كان لازم نفكر ازاي الكاميرا تكون خفيفه وحجمها صغير، بحيث ان هو المستخدم ما يحسش باي اجهاد في استخدامها. Okay, the mount was one of the decisive factors when Nikon was designing the new format, the Z format. And yeah, it's the biggest mount in the industry. Biggest mount means that biggest diameter of 55 mm allows the most of the light. That's why now we can see the lenses coming as 1.2. That was not hearable before, but now it's happening. Flange back of 16 mm, allowing for a more precise and undistorted image and higher quality eventually. So the mount was a key factor for the success, not only of the camera, but of the solution as a whole. Yeah, one of our favorites in photography here is the number of frames per second. So yes, we are adapting 20 frames per second in case of RAW or JPEG, 30 frames JPEG, fine, we're talking about the whole sensor scanning. 60 frames per second in case of DX crop mode, JPEG format, and 120 frames per second, 11.1 megapixel are achievable. But 120 frames per second, if we compare it to video, that means 120 frames per second, right? So 4K means 8 megapixel, corresponds to 8 megapixel. Now, we have 120 frames per second with 11.1 megapixel. That's those standard formats, but you can display it on a PC and avail your 6K. So you can do a lot with this. And of a second, what we could do with Z9 is that we could freeze a bullet. We were the first camera to freeze a bullet. And that was published. Not a static bullet, a shot bullet. Yeah, so that is the power of that imaging. You know, when you see that you can freeze a bullet, that feels that you can do anything with a camera, right? Yeah, low light. Here is one of my favorites. I want to negate one of the myths that big number of megapixels means your low light is not good. I'm talking about video. And that's not scientifically correct. What will define the total imaging, whether video or photo, and specifically talking about the video here, is your whole sensor size. So if you're using the whole sensor size anyways, then your light incident on the sensor remains the same. And if you are using more pixels, so you can utilize those more pixels, who said not to utilize them. And that's exactly what we are doing. So with our technology of oversampling, we do not miss any pixel. We make sure we pick all the pixels on the sensor, and we utilize them to minimize the noise and increase the signal-to-noise ratio of our video. A technology that is existing already, and we just made use of it. So there is nothing called that you have more megapixels, then your signal-to-noise ratio is not good, or your camera will struggle in low light. This is a myth. Okay? Just let me put this clear. It's technology. I'm talking science, so please trust me. On top of that, we have some of the technologies built in the camera to help in the low light shooting. So we have illuminating buttons. We have the viewfinder brightness adapting to low light, warm color display. So some of the techniques that might help the astrophotographers and videographers. We have the most advanced autofocus system, very fast compared to our competitors. It's never less than any of our competition. Okay. We're using a very advanced algorithm. We're using also the 3D tracking. Back with the stack sensor, we are capable of returning back the 3D tracking in place, but in a better performance. We have added also some of the subject to be detected by focus. So the camera is becoming, in a way, smarter to understand what are you trying to shoot, and becoming faster and more accurate in picking your objective or subject and focusing on it. Connectivity is becoming one of the very important factors in a camera. The camera shoots, but does not keep the material on it necessarily. So in many situations, you just want to transfer it quickly. And for that, we have also multiple ways built inside the camera to be able to allow you to transfer your data with the biggest simplicity. Also, with the Z8, we have the possibility to have a multi-camera video shooting situation. And that is using a Bluetooth technology. So all our cameras, all our Z cameras had a time code built in. We have the time code built in, which allows you, which helps you to have a time-coded video that helps you in the post-production. You know, so you can see when did you shoot whatever you were shooting. But if you need to synchronize two cameras, we use a video guys used to utilize something called Genlock. A Genlock was a coax BNC cable that goes into two cameras or multi-cameras and synchronize all of them together. Now, this is a new technology that synchronizes multi-camera together, allows you to have multi-camera recording synced together. Well, still being into the connectivity, Nikon has lately developed multiple softwares. SnapBridge is one of the softwares that probably most of you have used. And do you know that now with your SnapBridge, the latest version, you can also transfer a 4K video, and you can get your firmware informed, your firmware update messaging you or requesting you to update. You have a Nikon image stage. It's a cloud service allowing you to store images online. NX Field, very interesting solution that allows you to control through a tab or through even an iPhone multiple cameras, up to 10 cameras you can control remotely. NX Field, NX Tether allows you to control the camera and instantly take the pictures. A tethering solution, a wireless transmitter utility correlated with it. So these are the solutions that has been provided by Nikon to simplify the whole workflow of Nikon. Yeah, so here going into details, SnapBridge image, Nikon image space. I think maybe the image space has not been used in our region pretty much, but it's fantastic to have a cloud service allowing you to store your image online and download whenever you want. NX Studio has been, the software given with the camera has been developed, has been enhanced to allow you to do more advanced corrections to your camera, to your content, whether photography or videography. Yeah, and you don't need to have another camera if you have a Z8 or Z9. You don't need to have another camera to stream. Whenever you're streaming, you can use the same camera through your USB. Using the software, you can stream directly. Okay, tethering, a very useful feature in studios to transfer the image instantly. Yeah. One of the advantages of Z8, remarkable advantages, are that you have two ports of USB-C. So one can be utilized for charging the camera, and the other one can be utilized as simultaneously to transfer your data from the camera to your PC. So when we're talking about photography or videography, it's not anymore an individual camera. We have to think of a solution, of a system, of an integration. And that's why we have to look at the accessories, the multiple possible accessories. And that's why we are trying to adapt and work with other brands in order to provide solutions rather than just a camera. You know, so the Holy Land radio transmitter, or the gimbals, the microphones, the synchronizer, all of this are new system components used together with the camera. And this is my real favorite feature. If a user is buying Z8 or Z9 for video, he can utilize this feature. This feature allows the user to make a 2x zoom, high-res zoom. It means he doesn't lose any quality while he's zooming. There is no loss of quality. So the video can be zoomed up to 2x with the same resolution. This is not a crop. This is a real zoom. It's utilizing the pixels of the sensor to do a real zoom on the camera. But what does that mean? It means that you can economize on your lenses. whether I'm talking about buying or I'm talking about even if you have them home and you're thinking whether to carry them in your trip or not. You might not, you might keep them. So this is also equally very, very important feature for video users. الميزة ميزة الهاي ريز زوم الحقيقة مهمة جدا في ان هي بتسمح للمستخدم الفيديو انه يقدر يعمل زوم حقيقي يعني زوم من غير ما يخسر تفاصيل من الصورة مش كروبينج وده بيسمح بانه يقدر يستخدم عدسات اقل او تنوع اقل من العدسات سواء في مرحلة الشراء او في مرحلة ان هو بيفكر مثلا يطلع رحلة او حاجة فيقدر ياخد عدد اقل من العدسات. Yeah, so lenses are progressing, the launch of lenses are progressing on the other side, and we are producing lenses with utmost quality. We never compromise on the quality of our lenses. On top of that, we have our FTZ adapter allowing each individual to utilize his previous lenses without fail, without reduction in quality. And the Z system camera is going to render any utilization of the previous lenses ultimately even with FTZ adapter. So that was it. And thank you very much. I hope you can have some hand on those cameras that we are going soon to put backside. Thank you.
Thank you, Tarek-san, for leading that wonderful deep dive into the Nikon Z8. Now, it's great to know what the Nikon Z8 is capable of and what it's made of, but just as action speaks louder than words, of course, nothing beats first-hand experience. Now, to give us his experience of the Nikon Z8, please join me in welcoming on stage the founder of Tech Mission, Dr. Ali.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Ali Mohammed, known to some of you as Tech Mission, if you speak Arabic and follow my channel. Of course, largely unknown to many of you as well, but I am a camera tester, camera reviewer, a gear reviewer, and an enthusiastic camera user. And for those reasons, I was very, very thrilled when Nikon approached me to talk about this new camera. And the fact is, I have had my eye on the Z9. And by the way, I might say Z9 instead of the Z8 at some point. I did that in the practice. So if you hear me saying Z9 instead of Z8, please correct me. So let's talk about the Z9. Thank you. But correct me louder, I'm an old man. So I did have my eye on the Z9 for a long time, and actually there were two reasons I did not buy it. The first one is that it is a big camera, a chunky one, really, really amazing in everything, but it's a big camera. And my style is to travel with many lenses and many cameras, and being an old man, it's difficult to carry humongous cameras. The second reason is that, quite frankly, every time I want to borrow it, Nikon are very generous in lending it to me, so I didn't feel that I needed to buy it. So thank you, Tarek, for that. But here we come. There's this new camera. It is a Z9 in a smaller body. Or like I said in my video that will be published in an hour or so, it's a Z9 that went to the gym for 6 weeks. And it is. And actually, what I'm saying here is I'm making up most of it, and you'll notice, but it's not something that Nikon checked before I came to stage. Tarek said, Ali, I want your impartial opinion on this camera. So here you go, Tarek. Impartially, this is a fantastic camera. A fantastic one. We wanted to show you something, so I thought, what's best to show the capability of the camera, but to take it with me, handheld, one lens, the amazing 85 1.2, Handheld, no gimbal, no tripod, no crew, no lighting, no technician, nothing. Just me and my model, who is not even a professional model, sitting right there, by the way. Hi, Nana. And we came back with this video. Just wait for it. Absolutely zero color grading. This is straight out of camera. Nothing. And this is the beauty of it, because I'll be talking a little bit about some of the video features, but the beauty of this camera is that you set it to standard picture profile, no log, no HLG, nothing. You use the standard plus the amazing IBIS that Tarek talked about. I'm actually very curious to see how it worked in outer space. Did anybody ask Sultan Niadi? I think you should. It depends on gravity, you know, right? Somebody said something? It will be well, just relying on the standard everything, fix your exposure, you'll get this. When you want more, there's a lot more. And let's check. So yes, I shot in SDR in a very high dynamic range situation. I did not shoot analog in that video. That was SDR. Imagine what will happen when you shoot analog. And by the way, this is analog version 2, as I understand. I don't know if they are calling it this. Are you calling it version 2? But this is an advanced analog, and it does miracles, and I tested it, and it does a good job. And the best part is that the free LUT from Nikon on the website gives you amazing results straight away with only one click of applying the LUT. And yet, I shot SDR. I trusted the camera this much. From a user experience point of view, this is actually something that is special about this camera. I told you, I love the Z9. I love it. In my opinion, it's one of the best cameras that has ever been made. But I have always found it difficult to handle the big size. I'm a traditional shooter with smaller cameras. And this one comes just right exactly what it needs to be. It's not as small as other mirrorless cameras. It's bigger than the Z6, Z6 II, bigger than the Z7, Z7 II. But it is much smaller, 30%, around 30% smaller than the Z9. And this gives it a very good advantage in the hand. It's absolutely amazing, absolutely comfortable. You get it there, your hands are comfortable, your fingers are on the buttons, dials are in the right place, everything is in the right place, and it feels strong in your hand. It feels trustworthy. The other thing in the user experience is that you trust your camera. I took it there, like I said, no crew, no lighting, nothing. Just took it there, shot, put it in the computer, and the results were that. I think you may have noticed some out of focus faces here and there. And that's because I did not even use tracking. I left it on standard, wide area, autofocus. Did not touch the screen. It did everything by itself. That was the purpose of my video. Everything that you saw was done by the camera by itself. So I think from a user experience point of view, this is a very special one. And that's not the perfect ergonomics, the perfect build, the perfect design. I love it, and the user experience is absolutely amazing. Well, Tarek talked about the codecs. I told you I did not tell Tarek what I was going to talk about, right? Amazing is the ability to choose everything that you want, the ability to customize how you want your footage to be. So you can go unraw, you can go ProRes RAW, you can go ProRes 10-bit, you can go to H.265 second, and that's how I shot, to avoid flicker, of course. But these codecs are advanced to the extent that you don't know sometimes what to do with them. Like, okay, I have unraw here. I must shoot unraw. But I don't even need to do that if I am shooting for anything except production. Because if you do anything for social media, even for TV sometimes, when you go high production, you need the higher codecs. But the lower codecs are doing great, and they are very efficient. The H.265 is really efficient. File size plus storing data. Which brings us to NLE compatibility, because this is a very important point of view for production houses, for single users, for single shooters, for teams, for freelancers. And what was really beautiful is that everything that we shot with this camera, with the exception of ProRes RAW, as you know, was easily edited in any one of the 3 major NLEs. So put it in Premiere Pro, put it in DaVinci Resolve, put it in Final Cut Pro, you're absolutely in butter. Skin in butter. Did I just say that? Knife in butter. A hot one. Although skin in butter is a very good invention. I'll think about it. Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro, they do everything. With DaVinci Resolve, there's still the issue with the ProRes RAW not being able to be handled in DaVinci Resolve. But how easy it is to handle the codecs was really amazing. And it was like the easiest experience I had, even with the very, very high codecs. Now, this is a very important point, and I'm so happy Tarek did not speak about it. He left it to me, thank you. You're very courteous. Extended oversampling, and this is I don't know if I'm wrong, please correct me if I'm wrong, but this is something I see for the first time in any camera. Now, you get 8K 60 with the RAW, the Nikon RAW. You get ProRes, and et cetera. But when you go down to 4K, you get 4K 24 or 30 or 25 in our region for the PAL system, and you get that oversampled from the 8K image, full readout from the whole sensor, and that's just amazing. It gives you absolutely fantastic quality. You're reading the whole sensor, and between the sensor and the X-Speed, it's oversampling into a smaller file size, capturing all the information on the way. But when you go to 4K 60 or 4K 50 in PAL, then it is pixel binned, it is not oversampled. And that's something, because I use 4K 60 a lot, and 4K 120. But it is not oversampled in the standard shooting. Once you go to this menu, and you enable the extended oversampling, you get oversampled 4K 60. And to my knowledge, this is the only camera, I think the Z9 will be the second after it upgrades to the firmware 3, right? Today, it is the only camera that allows 4K 60 oversampled from 8K. And that's not something little, that's big. And of course, it's optional, because if you still want the smaller file size and the more efficient codec, you go with the pixel binned 4K 60 standard. But if you want the higher quality, the much higher quality, you go here and you enable extended oversampling. And that's just amazing. And it matters, trust me, it matters a lot. I'm not going through the resolutions because Tarek already covered those, but I'm very impressed with the capability of the H.265 codec, because this is what most of us will be using. So the H.265 gives you 8K 30, and it gives you 4K 120. Of course, if you go to ProRes, there's no 8K anymore, but you get 4K 60. In the NRAW, you get 8.3K 60, which is still mind-blowing at so many levels, because I'm going to need the terabyte memory card, right? And of course, you go to ProRes standard 10-bit, and you also get the 4K 60. But these are quite diverse and quite efficient, and none of them crops on the camera. None of these frame rates crops on the image. You're getting a full view, regardless to what codec and what frame rate you are having. Of course, with the autofocus, nothing more to say after what Tarek said. There is the There's one important point. You put it on the all, where is it? Yeah, the auto, and it performs nearly as good as if you choose an individual. So if you choose animal, it's really, really fast. You choose auto and it sees an animal, it's nearly as fast. If you choose airplane, it's really fast in detecting the airplane. If you choose auto, it's nearly as fast, which is not something that you see in other cameras. This is really amazing. Oh yes, I'm done, thank you.
Thank you, Doc Ali. That was truly insightful. All right, I hope everyone's enjoying all of these delightful info and practical knowledge that we've been receiving about the Nikon Z8. Now, there's still more to come as I invite to the stage one of Nikon MEA's most trusted collaborators, Elaine, to lead a panel discussion on the Nikon Z8. Now, let me call on the beautiful Elaine Fatima over here on the stage. Take it away, girl.
Hello, everyone. Tonight, we are happy to present 3 out of 11 selected content creators here who had the exclusive opportunity to use the Z8 before anyone else in the world, and even before the world could even know of its existence. So across a diverse set of genres, they took the opportunity and wowed us during their online announcement with their films. So may we present the creative film on screen from Shadi Al-Rafai first. A round of applause for that amazing, amazing video. Mind you, those were all taken at his very own garage studio, right? Amazing, amazing content. So now, second up, may we have the creative film on screen of Majid Sultan, please. Round of applause for that. It was pretty obvious what his amazing genre is all about. Next up, we have a creative film on screen from Ala Al-Baghdadi. Beautiful, beautiful work there, Ala. A round of applause, everyone. May I invite these beautiful and amazing 3 content creators up on stage so that we may commence our Z8 panel talk. So on stage we have Shadi Al-Rafai, Majid Sultan, and Ala Al-Baghdadi, please.
Today Shadi's birthday, so please wish him a very happy birthday. And we are really proud of you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, have a seat, yeah. Okay, great. So I'm sitting on the right, so we start from the Arabic side, yeah? Okay. Yes, please. So the questions that we ask, you all are going to be taking a chance to answer them, okay? And we want to get to know more about you tonight. So for those who are already familiar with your work, I would like you to introduce yourself to those who are meeting you for the very first time here in this room. So let's start off with you,
okay.
Right from the right side here.
How old are you first?
Yeah, exactly. How old are you now? Happy birthday.
Yeah, just keep it secret, yeah? No, actually, I'm 45 today, and thank you for having us today. I feel amazing. I feel with my family. Most of the familiar with the faces here tonight, and I grew up with Nikon. I grew up with this amazing communities here. I've been here in 1999 in Dubai, and I've been doing it as a hobbyist, and I started to have my own business as a photography 4 years ago, and I have my studio now in Dubai. It's called Garage Studio, and I'm into deep into now film industry, and moving from even photography to directory and cinematography as well.
Great, great. Thank you so much. How about you, Ala? Tell us about yourself, and do introduce to us the kind of content you create as well.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to be with you tonight. My name is Ala Al-Baghdadi. I'm from Syria. I started photography since I was 16. I actually started as a videographer in wedding industry. Recently, the past 2 years since I shifted to Nikon, I was amazed by capability of the camera, and I was really impressed with the kind of exposure that Nikon is supporting creator with. I honestly what I wanted to start content creation about photography, because I feel there's not enough female photographers are able to share their art, their experience, and their own vision when it comes to photography. So I started almost years ago. And I'm really proud of the milestone that I've accomplished so far, and I'm looking forward to continue with Nikon, with the new Z8 that I'm falling in love with. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And how about you, Majid? Please introduce yourself and the kind of content that you create.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. This is Majid Zaabi from Kuwait. I am 43 years old. Okay, I started with Nikon in 2004, and I'm still there. I'm a wildlife photographer. Like, I visit Masai Mara is my second country. I can say that more than 30 times now. And very active in social media. That's good
Very
and bad.
active.
Yeah, this is all.
Thank you. So now the big question for tonight, why the Nikon? Why Nikon? What about Nikon's innovation and point of view actually resonates with the kind of content that you create? Why do you choose Nikon?
Actually, in the time we started photography, who's else? The question is. Nikon was the only and the strongest brand in the field. And once you started, you cannot go back. Like, you cannot change. I've been trying to find another alternative, better solution. I'm blessed to use all the brand in the market, medium format, photos, videos, everything. There's no comparison with the file result, with the quality, with the lens options that they provide for you. So they will leave you with no choice. So you are stuck with a brand for life.
A brand for life, that's
Brand
what
for life.
loyalty is
Yes,
about,
it
right?
is.
How about you, Ala? how does the Nikon resonate with your content creation, your style of content creation,
Of
rather?
course. Echoing to what Shadi said, definitely it's a great Nikon for life, definitely. I've also tried and experiment with different brands. The main thing I want to just say, the camera system is very easy, flexible. It adapts itself to exactly follow what you're looking for. And I really love that. And the second thing I really appreciate about Nikon as a company, not just the camera, that they do provide and they do the best to provide and support that any talent that's interested or planning to start by providing so many options when it comes to the free courses with Nikon schools or the amazing trips. You travel, you give them the opportunity to have a new experiences, new locations. At the same time, what I really love is I've always seen Nikon Mia supporting most of the creator in all of the region, which unfortunately many brands, they don't give that kind of exposure to any other creative. They focus on specific people. But with Nikon, I see they're very diverse. They have a huge diverse community from all type of the world, and they respect all type of art that any content creator is presenting.
Absolutely. I do agree with you. Nikon School, Nikon's NPM trips, and as well as the loan system program that they have is what makes Nikon so great in supporting all of these content creators and budding content creators out there. So how about you, Majid?
For me, I always say that whatever you are using, like a car or a mobile, you select this brand because you think that brand understands what you want, or it's easy to use. So this is one of the most important things for me, that anything I want to reach with the camera, I feel comfortable with it. The second and most, they are listening to us. So this is one of the most important things or points or like suggestions for the photographers. It's great that you suggest something and you see it on live. So
Great.
This is amazing.
All right, so now that we're on the topic of speaking of comfortability, all right? Every photographer and videographer has a special lens or camera body that they always kind of gravitate towards too. What is it for you? Let's start it backwards.
Yeah,
So
for me now is the Z8. I have both the Z9 and Z8, but usually I'm doing now ground photography for the wildlife. So my best set now is the Z8 plus the 400 2.8 with the teleconverter.
Great, and this is Z8 for video and photos as well?
Both.
Both,
Yeah,
okay.
I shoot, most of my photography is still photography, but nowadays you should go with the trend, both of them. Yeah.
All right, and how about you, Ala?
Honestly, I'm a very loyal person.
No, again.
I'm still in love with my baby, Z6 II. But after seeing the Z9, Z8, definitely after, I have another lovely baby adding to my collection. But my favorite lens, because I do portraits and I focus on the creative type of portraits in a very challenging lighting condition, I do prefer the 85mm, which I've also experimented with while we were getting hands-on experience with the camera. It was amazing. I mean, the depth and the isolation of the background was wonderful. So definitely 85mm.
Perfect. Yeah, that's also my favorite lens as well. All right. How about you, Shadi?
Actually, it's so difficult to choose. In my field, actually, I have multi options according to the mission.
All right, so you have the full S and F lens. Which one? Oh, the whole lens of it. Okay.
Actually, according to the mission, but I have my favorite choice. If it's a personal event or a personal things I'm gonna do, I always in love with 12-24 for landscape and 85 for sure.
First love, or is it a recent love at the moment?
No, it's the first, and it's always.
His wife is the first love. I'm sorry about that, but
I wouldn't be here without her support. So, 12-24 was and still my favorite lens of choice. And if you wanted to go for another one, I'd love the 70-200. And my choice of camera according to the requirement. But as of now, Z8 came newly to the bag and it's taking her place to stay there.
Newly to the table as well. That's
it's
warming up to it.
It's with me wherever I go now. It's because it's ready to go and easy to have.
Great, great. So another question that I have for you is, photos and videos have the power to convey information and inspiration through imagery. So as an artist, what is it that you find yourself constantly trying to express, especially through your personal work? How does Nikon help empower this expression?
For me, as a wildlife photographer, now the technology is there. So it will help you to reach your imagination quickly. Like if I saw like a lion is moving or something, I can have like freeze 1/4000, for example. The recent feature for Nikon, they add just one click to the lens and you will recall
The pre-release capture.
Yeah,
Yes.
preset, all the preset, like you will switch from manual to aperture. You will go to 100 ISO. You will go to the, for example, 1/30. Within one click, you save like around maybe 6, 7, 8 movement of your hands before. So this kind of movements or this kind of shortcuts in the camera and the features give you more to concentrate about the content you want to create.
Absolutely.
So this is support us a lot. Now you have, okay, the focus system, all other stuff to help you to reach whatever you are imagining.
Absolutely. And as a wildlife photographer, documenting action is so imperative towards you. All right. How about you, Ala?
Okay. Let's say as an artist and a photography is type of one of the art, and everyone has the right to express themselves. I feel like I love to tell visual stories. Not just capturing a moment, I love to tell a visual story. I like when people look at my work, try to figure out what I'm trying to express from something. Honestly, to have the technology, as Majid said, to help you exceed that kind of expectation and reach to the kind of goals or imaginary to put that in just a storyboard, but when it comes to actually capturing that, to have the proper tool that can that support you with different kind of situation, challenging, let's say, lighting situation, definitely exceed my expectation. So
Definitely, and it is an art that you work with as well.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
How about you, Shadi? Tell us.
Yeah. Actually, Nikon is changing the way we are shooting through the years. It's improving and enhancing our experience. I never see myself shooting through the LCD screen before. I never see myself holding the camera away from my eyes and this one. By getting old and seeing these things, blurry things, you see it with that huge clarity, full HD screen is an advancement. And the angle of shooting, the way we are going low in the ground, the flexibility and the build of the camera, it's built to last, it's built to be beaten, it's built to be abused and used really nice. And this is what makes you a better photographer. You don't worry about the weather condition, you don't worry about how rough is the condition is. You just go and shoot. You focus on what you love the most. You wanted to come up with amazing photos, and everything else you just leave it to the camera. Is it freezing? If it's the heat of the desert, you don't worry about anything else. And you know that this camera will deliver. This camera is built to achieve. You never worry and taking in consideration what if, like so many people just wondering, like I always have backup camera.
Okay.
I never use it.
Which is your backup camera?
When I started, like when I D850, I used to have like another D850, or I have a 750. So I always have two cameras in my back in case happen, and it's never happened. And I'm so lucky, and maybe if some people agreed. I don't know if somebody have bought a Nikon camera and it's damaged up to now. I still have my D200. I still have the D300, D300S, 700. All are still functioning and still working up to date perfectly. The only thing is just I'm taking care of the battery and just clean it. So it's a brand built to live, and I would love to see that if somebody have like, unless if you put it in purpose for water. So the camera's a breakdown. The camera's continuously working.
Absolutely. So Nikon is constantly improving and changing the game right now, and it's also definitely following into trends. So speak about trends right now. What kind of trends in photography and videography are you lately observing and following, I would say? Yeah, all right. Let's start with Ala, because you're definitely in the business of content creating as well, and influencing as well. What are the latest trends, as you would say, you've observed in photography and videography that has helped you?
I've noticed recently that every content creator or every photographer or everyone who's into photography, they just want to test out different kind of ideas, similar to things like usually technically nobody can teach you. So you need to test around, experiment with light, experiment with framing. And I think the trend now to be able to have a creative approach to any idea we would like to present, using the day-to-day, let's say, trending concept ideas when it comes to photography. And I think when you look at social media right now, I feel that everyone is letting go of that creative side to be able to experiment with kind of different concept, different idea. Everyone has his own way to express his creativity, and I'm seeing a lot of people who doesn't have a photography background coming with so many cool ideas, so many concept, lighting situation, like it's super impressive, honestly. And I feel myself, even though like I do photography as a professionally, but still I'm still learning from every single individual.
Absolutely,
who
never
keep
stops.
providing creative concept and give you that kind of experience to learn from. So definitely, yeah.
Never stop learning. That is so great advice right there. How about you, Majid? What kind of trends lately you've observed that has helped you in your wildlife photography?
I got a question from one of my friends. They said, like, will AI will kill the photography, for example? I told him, if AI will kill the photography, photography should kill the painting, for example, but it still exists. So no one will kill anyone, okay? But from my point of view that, okay, people are like to see something visual, like videos. So the videos now is the most trending in the social media platforms. So as a photographer, should I convert to videographer? At this point I said no. You just go to whatever you love and passion. Then, because of that, it's trending. Show people how you are taking photos.
Correct.
By behind-the-scenes stuff, like taking videos. So, any photographer now, as a hybrid camera now, you can take video and photo. I connect my Ninja, the screen, to Z8. While I am taking 20 frame rows per second, the video is full HD, is recording the whole scene. So when I have a Reels in Instagram, I can have my video, then the shot, for example. So I have both simultaneously. I'm shooting video and photo at the same time. So this is the trends that you should come up with, not stopping what you are loving for the trends.
Great, great. That is such good educational content right there. I mean, we can't make animals do TikTok videos, right? So we'd have to do it for them. Anyway, so tell me, Shadi, how about you?
Actually, trending and following the trend is like, it's not my main concern. I'm following the trend, I'm watching the trend, but everybody's moving now into the video, and video is the next like a platform, or every platform is moving to how much important is the video, and Nikon is taking this in consideration.
Absolutely.
And giving us amazing product, have a great quality, amazing quality in cinematic level. In the same camera, but focusing into your photography, as you said, and your own, and create your own trend. So once you do something achievement and you focus into your what you love to do, and I think that you will create your own trend later on, and people will just keep following your own trend. But I don't spend time following a specific trend and try to implement it into my workflow.
Correct.
I have some like division, and I spend so much time into learning new things, and new techniques, and new things, implement it, and blending my experience during even the corona, how to blend my experience of landscape and photography outside to do it in the studios, and how to bring the outside environment into my studios. That was my main concern.
Absolutely. Such a great answer, considering that social media now these days is focusing on a video aspect algorithm. And at the same time, Nikon is adapting to that trend, because I'm pretty sure with the Z8 right now, you have vertical viewing as well, right? So you can make more vertical videos as well, and that's really great to hear. So guys, how was your first experience with the Z8 coming out to this question? I'd like to start with Shadi first.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do that.
you know, I think that I was the first impression when I see it, it was really amazing. The first things that you will see is the physical output of the camera, how it's built, how there's something is missing, some buttons missing. I've been using since the beginning of the release of the Z9. I'm familiar with the inside, you know, full inside menu. So, and I was really shocked. I was not believing my eyes. Like, is it really Nikon doing it? Is putting the most expensive flagship camera into a lower camera? And by digging up deep inside into the camera, I was really shocked. Like, we have a small mini Z9, affordable, a small size. It's what everybody else was dreaming about. So we have it in the market. That was really a very nice surprise.
Good.
Yeah.
So good to hear that. How about you, Ala? What are your first impressions of the Z8?
The first impression, it was very light. I'll tell you why. Because when we start preparing for our shoot, definitely you're going to use the gimbal, additional battery. You want to put the screen to be able to view. So it was a lot of things to put on a gimbal.
And I was worried about. Wasn't hurt. Sorry, I hope your hand wasn't hurt using the Z8 then.
No. It's
right.
funny. I had a small accident before I come here.
So glad you could still make it. Though.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. So when I hold the camera, it was super light, especially on the gimbal. Sometimes when you hold multiple things, it's really like challenging, especially the weight. As a female, honestly, sometimes I do have some challenge with the weight. But with the camera, with Z8, it was super light. And even if you decided to use it without any, let's say, tripod or gimbal, you still have this kind of stabilization. And I love to move when I'm taking my shot. So I was like really impressed, especially when I started to adjust the screen to be able to tilt it. As Shadi said, you can go lower angle, high angle. You can actually jump on the stairs and try to take a frame with a frame shot somewhere, and you still get that amazing view. I was super impressed, honestly.
Great. Thank you so much for that answer. Najid, tell me your first impressions.
Unfortunately, I can't jump in front of the lion.
I was jumping everywhere in Garage Studio, up and down.
So my answer is like I can say the D8 is the daughter of Z9, or Z8 is the daughter of Z9, and the success replacement of the D850.
Or some people have, as Dr. Ali had mentioned, Z8 has been in the gym for 6 months, and that was
like
basically that. Great.
She's the daughter and a success replacement for the D850, and it's also lighter than the D850.
I would definitely agree with you. I feel like it's a baby between the Z9 and the D850, and that's where you come in with the Z8 because of that grip as well and that light, compact weight that you've been talking about. Yes, great. So, what are the features? Can I ask, what are the features that has helped you when you were shooting this film, your creative films? What did it help you off the bat as your first impression? What did it help you in creating that film as well? The features of the Z8.
For me, Z8 is the connectivity is number one.
Right.
And my new collection of photos, I am using the camera on the ground. I need something light with the same focus of Z9 and the stacked sensor. That's it. Well, let's say the stacked sensor is one of the big points.
That really helped you in creating that film that you just showed us.
Sure.
Okay, great. How about you, Ala?
There was many things. During my experience, for example, as Tariq said, you have 2 USB-C ports, right? So the battery life of the camera is really long. Really long. It's even longer than Z9, by the way. And at some point, because we were taking a lot of shots, I was out of battery. So I just wanted to connect the USB-C to see if I can just
connect it to the power bank.
Yeah, I connected to the power bank.
Yeah.
And then I noticed like it's still on. And then I tap record. I still can record and charge at the same time. This is something any filmmaker will be really impressed to have. 1. 2. As me, when I like to create art, I do intend part of my style is to obstruct the lens with different kind of subjects, which mean I have elements between my lens and my subject most of the time because I like the effect it can create. The focus was amazing. The minute it passed by, it blurred a second and then go back directly to the subject on an auto mode. I didn't even have to select a subject. It was automatically directly going back to the eye of the model. Even though if you take a step back, far away distance, close up, it's amazing. I was really impressed with the capability of the camera. Especially, I always shoot in low light condition. I do like to play around with lights. And most of the brand I shoot with before, without mentioning any names, sometimes it loses the ability to go back and focus on the subject unless you manually have to go and do it again.
Correct.
But with the Z8, I didn't have to. Like I remember I was telling Shadi, it just go back, it follow. It's like it has its own machine learning, smart AI, knows that this is your subject and keep back going to it. So I was really impressed with the autofocus tracking.
Their autofocus is absolutely phenomenal, and so is their eye tracking. Even that smallest eye tracking, amazing. How about you, Shadi? What features helped you in creating this video and the film?
Yeah, so actually, just for the environment of where we're shooting this in the studios, we used one camera for behind the scene and for the shoot, and because this was really a confidential project and we don't have the accessibility for many cameras. So this camera was beating all the day from 8 o'clock in the morning until the night. We never faced any heat issue, shooting continuously, changing batteries only. The size of the camera was so compact, we put it in gimbals, and the focus system was really amazing. And we are simulating the most complicated scene, like with a foreground, background, LED virtual production studios in the back, which is all confusing for the focus system. And even we put in the front, we put birds and we put models, and in different layers, whenever we move the camera recognized the face of the model and recognized the face of the birds, and it always was shifting smoothly and giving you the option where you wanted to focus in the bird or you want to focus in the model eye. And this was really phenomenal. And this is one of the things, advantage, that you will love the camera once you put it into the gimbal, and you see how smooth that you walk through the scene, and all what you have to worry about, even if you have a power bank, you don't have even to worry about the battery, and no heat issue. It's a full package. It's a really amazing
It's a compact
experience.
full package
Yes.
right there. Great.
Exactly.
So I have a question on the pre-release capture. I already know, Majid, your thoughts on this, and we all also know what your thoughts on this. So the question is for the both of you, okay? I do have a question specifically for you, though, after this. But regarding the pre-release capture, what would be the practical application of this feature in your line of work, and what do you think it gives a photographer an edge over the others with the pre-release capture?
Should I go?
Yeah, go ahead, by all means.
Actually, yeah, this is a game changer. This is not even a joke. This is the only camera in the world that do this advantage for everybody. Without this function, and my only prayer I speak to Mr. Tar today, that if this will come to the raw, and this advantage, you could miss a shot or take the shot. It's in everything, in all around. It's in a press release, or it's if you are in the field of the news or sport or wildlife, or in the model action, when we are doing taking the action to a model or a gymnastic thing in the studio that you are expecting them to do the act, and you are late most of the time, or they are doing it earlier, you always have the shot, so you don't have to worry about it. You have the option to go for 1 second, full 1 second, up to 30 second or 15 second pre-release option. You will never miss a shot. So this is where you always will be ready, and you just keep your finger in the focus, and whenever you click, you make sure that you get that image. And already I have this experience in Morocco before. I shot that Borida activities, and this is a blink of second activities that the decision of you don't control the decision. You don't have the speaker to tell action now, and then you shoot. So these activities is happening in a second, and you either miss or take that shot. So it's a game changer, and this is one of the main function I'm using these cameras for whenever I go for event coverage. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. And how about you, Ada? This feature, this pre-release capture feature, how does this help you? Because I'm pretty sure it is imperative to everyone here who is a photographer, and it's really, really good as well.
Definitely. For me, because my concept was based on action, I wanted to test it out to see how it's going to work. And I remember I took multiple burst option to be able to see if it's actually focused on every single shot that I capture. So I took my time to check, and every time I'm zoom in, I'm more shocked. So as Shadi said, it's a game changer. I was I thought maybe because it's still not released camera, it has different feature. So I wanted to play around and experiment as well with using natural light resource or artificial light resource and see how does it adapt and follow what you're looking for. And still it impressed me. Every single photo, I was zooming just to see the focus. I was like, wow.
Great. I mean, we blink and we miss an opportunity.
Yes.
I'm so glad that the camera actually captures it,
I
and
think
when you miss it.
Any type of wildlife photographer, sport photographer, anyone who's into motion and action is going to be super pleased. And honestly, I've checked the review before I come from different type of filmmakers all around the world. Everyone is surprised. So definitely, congratulations, Nikon.
Great. Thank you so much for that answer. So Majid, my question to you is the high-res zoom. Oh, look at that. Everyone in the room became quiet because it's Majid, right? So how does that benefit you in your videography and photography?
Again, it depends on your lens. Sometimes some of the people coming to the wildlife, they want to reach more. They have 200 or 400 lens.
Right, you can't jump into the
just imagine the 2x and you are going with high resolution for the video. It's really amazing. I have some great clips with that, like a bird is eating a snake or something. Just one click, you are going zoom in high res. It was a great feature.
Amazing. And as you said, we can't jump in front of the line, right? So you might as well take it with that high-res zoom. So my question, personal question would have to be, who would you recommend the camera, the Nikon Z8 to? How convince me if I want to buy it as well?
It's not about convince you. I definitely, recently everyone is planning to start their own social media content. Everyone now have the ability to share their knowledge, their field of experience or their education on social media. And I think this is the new norm, I would say. All of us at some point, our job will be on social media somehow. So I think every single content creator who do daily vlog, challenges, or even present an educational content will be super pleased that he have a very reliable camera that can provide him with all type of kind of feature that will definitely enhance his experience once. And there's a feature I didn't mention, I think all content creator will be really interested in, which is you will have automatic filter from the camera on the skin that soften the skin in some point, especially if you do content, you record yourself. Imagine doing that using editing is going to be a long waste of time. When you have it built in the camera, presenting raw images for you with a softer skin, especially if you do talk and present yourself on social media, which I do myself. And I think this is one of the greatest things I would sell out to any content creator.
Sorry, it just keeps going off. I'm glad that you actually pulled out that point because there is a skin softening feature as well available on the Z8, and it's got 3 different levels as well that you can play around with. So I'm so glad to hear that from you. How about you, Shadi? Who would you recommend the Z8 to?
Actually, to recommend it for a person is just to have to understand what his field, what his requirement. And even it will be easier for him to decide which camera to use according to his requirement. This is a camera which is amazing, and you are reaching the peak of the top of the camera. So if you have the money and the money is not an issue for you, absolutely take it. And this is the camera that you will never regret for the next 5 years. This is the investment that you are putting into camera that will stay in the market for sure for the next 5 years. And if you need much more than this, and you have your requirement for GPS system, you require for a better battery, longer and more connectivity. If you are doing a journalism or sport, I'll tell you go for Z9. And this is according to your need. The best evaluator for the camera and the best supporter to himself is the camera's user himself. And absolutely, yani, the camera will be the talk of the community for the next years. And as we used to, we have a different cameras from Nikon that compete for 5 years, unbeatable into the market, the great D850. And this camera is replaceable for this camera, and it will keep beating the other cameras in the market.
All right, great. So, Majid, this question's for you, okay?
I will not answer.
Absolutely.
No,
Absolutely.
because they said everything.
They said everything. Oh, is that your answer? No, so this question is because you also own the Z9. So would you convince someone to get the Z8 if they were interested in the Z9? And similarly, if someone was interested in the Nikon Z7, 2, and 6, would you recommend them the Z8 rather?
Okay, for wildlife, anyone is using Z6 2 and Z6 7, I advise them to shift to Z8 direct without any question. But about Z8 or Z9, if you need that like connectivity for the Ethernet, for example, for the sport photographers, if you need GPS, if you need the dual card, because the Z9 have 2 dual card type B. If you are shooting at the same time RAW, then you need that Z9.
Okay.
Other than that, and I'm a wildlife photographer, I don't shoot the simultaneously 2 type B. So Z8 will be great for everyone.
All right. Do you have similar thoughts?
I just want to add one thing for the Z8 choice of putting 2 cards, SD card and CF card. It's an amazing things to be have in this camera, because this camera maybe will target a lot of wedding photographers. The type of the card CF is not available in everywhere. But the normal card is available in the gas station. You can buy it. And even you can just deliver to a client a DVD copy immediately. While the cheap card, you don't worry about it. You just give it to the client and keep the expensive card with you. It's critical for some of the businesses. So when you think about this smart choice, and now, as we said, that we have the fastest card in the market, and the capacity you can go to 4 tera. There's more than what you need in one slot of cards, and this will be amazing choice. And having this in the D8, it's a different segment and different field of business. Like if you are a wedding photographer, if you're an event photographer, and you need the high quality, and you need to deliver in the same site, this is the card for you. This is the other CF card. So because even the card reader is not available most of the time.
Correct.
And everything. This is for different niche professional photographer level, and that one is available for everybody. And if you're coming from other cameras, you will never feel like you're been punched in the face when you say that, oh, I need to buy another cards. No, you can use your own cards with the Z8, and you will not lose any money.
Great.
Yeah.
Ala, would you like to add something to it?
Yes, I honestly love the size and ability of the camera that has resistant for dust and water, because trying it in different condition was really, really interesting. Also, there is something I really liked. When you connect it to a 400 millimeter lens, it still will be able to fit in a small bag. Usually other brands, when you add the 400 millimeter lens, it needs a huge backpack to be able to back all this equipment. I think this is as well a huge benefit that we'll be able to have it.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your answers. Last question, guys. I know we're pretty hungry, so we'll commence the, we'll conclude the session with our very, very last question. Are there specific footage or subjects that you think the Nikon Z8 will particularly excel at?
For me, I think that I cannot wait to see like the other activities of that Boreid folklore and activity that I used to shoot every year in Morocco. I think this camera will stand out again, and this will show the difference between the frame rate, the capacity, and the high ISO, and the fastest shutter speed, where you can go up to, or not even to 8,000, you can go for 32,000. So I can't imagine what this camera can do in this field. We're looking forward. I think that we have some colleagues here that they've been with us in Morocco.
All right.
And yeah, this is a compete. I need that kind of sport, that kind of extreme competition, fast movement, action, to be frozen with this camera. So this camera is built to the maximum test. I think that this one of the sports is where she will stand out.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. How about you, Ella? What do you think about any specific photos or footages or subjects that you think the Z8 will excel at?
I honestly travel a lot, and I like to take my cameras with me. I think the Z8 will be able to unlock a new creativity for me when it comes to travel photography, especially with portraits. I'm planning to go soon to Nepal, so I'm looking
Brilliant.
forward
Let's not
to see
forget
where I'm
videography as
Yes.
well, right?
Yeah.
Great. How about you, Majid? Last answer.
Yeah, last answer. I want to add
buffet.
one mood for the autofocus.
Yes.
Like now it's focusing on cars, airplanes, and
Animals as
people,
well.
animals.
Yes.
I believe that the AI is coming more. So one time it will recognize my wife's face, for example, your wife's face, or something like that. Maybe it will be like more advanced in AI. I'm looking for that, and I will use it on the migration next, like after 2 months. I can't wait to use it.
All right, guys. So this last answer actually concludes our panel talk. I would like all of you to give a round of applause to our wonderful
Thank you
creators
very
over
much.
here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your thoughts
Thank
and
you.
reviews. All right.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Nicolo? Can I have Nicolo back on stage?
Dinner time.
Thank you so much, guys, for that wonderful discussion. It's always wonderful to be a wallflower in these very insightful conversations between artists. And of course, Majed, Shadi, and Allah are three of our most ardent collaborators. So definitely you will be seeing more of their works as we move along in telling the story of the Nikon Z8. And guys, our evening is nearing its conclusion. But before we open the dinner buffet, I'd first like to offer some reminders to everyone. So if you would like, you could come and visit the right side of the hall to check out the still shots of these wonderful species shot on a Nikon Z8 at 120 frames per second. And of course, if you have been covering tonight's event on your socials, please do tag us at Nikon MEA and use the hashtag Nikon MEA. All right? And then also, if you look here to the left side of the room, we have displays for the ISO, EIZO color edge. So if you're in the market for some HDR monitors, please do check out their displays. And we have a very, very special performer for you guys tonight, because of course we wanted to make this night very exciting. And I'm just going to say, if anyone here has the Nikon Z8, now might be a good time to check it out. So guys, please join me in giving a warm round of applause for tonight's performer, Mr. Luis Malabar. concludes our program for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Nikon Middle East and Africa, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for sharing this night with us and joining us in welcoming the new Nikon Z into the Middle East and Africa. But the night isn't over yet because we prepared a wonderful dinner for you all. So please do enjoy the lavish spread that we prepared for you. And once again, I am Nicolo bidding you farewell and bon appetit. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.